In the grand theater of Greek mythology, Hera, queen of the gods, reigns supreme, not just for her regal status, but also for her legendary temper and vindictive streak, which bear an uncanny resemblance to a modern-day Karen. You know the type entitled demanding, with a flair for turning the smallest slights into monumental dramas and never passing up the chance to speak to the manager. Hera's stories read like a divine soap opera where every perceived insult, no matter how trivial, becomes the basis for an epic revenge saga. So, let's take a stroll up Mount Olympus and explore why Hera might just be the original Karen. As the wife of Zeus, the king of the gods and notorious philanderer, Hera was the ultimate authority figure, a cosmic Karen with a crown. With great power comes great entitlement, and Hera wielded her position like a VIP pass to vengeance. She believed that as queen, she had the divine right to exact retribution on anyone who dared to cross her, especially when it came to Zeus's extracurricular activities. Take, for instance, the case of Heracles, the unfortunate result of one of Zeus's many dalliances. Hera's sense of entitlement kicked in long before Heracles could even say Hera. Upon learning that Zeus had fathered a child with the mortal Alcmene, Hera immediately set about making the boy's life miserable. She delayed his birth, hoping to prevent him from fulfilling his destiny, and when that didn't work, she sent 2 serpents to finish the job. Baby Heracles, displaying early signs of his legendary strength, strangled the snakes. But that didn't deter Hera. Throughout his life, she continued to harass him, turning minor inconveniences into life-threatening labors. It's as if Hera's personal motto was, "If I can't have my way, you're certainly not having yours." But entitlement was just one arrow in Hera's quiver. If there's one thing Hera was famous for, it was her jealousy. Imagine the stereotypical Karen fuming because someone cut in line at Starbucks, and then multiply that by 1,000. Hera's jealousy was so intense that it often turned otherwise mundane situations into full-blown tragedies, complete with curses, monsters, and plenty of collateral damage. Consider the story of Io, another of Zeus's many conquests. When Zeus, ever the clever philanderer, tried to hide his affair by transforming Io into a cow, Hera wasn't fooled for a second. She demanded the cow as a gift, because why not claim your husband's latest indiscretion as your own? But Hera didn't stop there. She assigned Argus, a giant with 100 eyes, to keep watch over Io. And when Argus was eventually outmaneuvered, Hera, in a fit of pique, sent a gadfly to torment Io, driving her to wander the earth in misery. It's the kind of grudge holding that makes you wonder if Hera might have invented the idea of never letting it go. Now, if you think a modern Karen is bad when she's demanding to speak to the manager, imagine Hera when she decided to escalate a situation. Hera didn't just ask for a manager. She brought in other gods, mortals, and sometimes entire cities. When Hera had a problem, the whole cosmos knew about it. Take the Trojan War, for example. It all started when Paris, a Trojan prince with dubious judgment, had the audacity to declare Aphrodite the fairest goddess, snubbing Hera in the process. Hera, feeling thoroughly disrespected, didn't just grumble and move on. She went full throttle, throwing her weight behind the Greek forces and doing everything in her power to ensure Troy's utter destruction. Hera didn't just want a victory. She wanted to erase Troy from existence. That's what happens when you don't pick Hera as your favorite. Paris, in his ignorance, set off a chain reaction that only a queen with a serious bone to pick could orchestrate. So, what we see in Hera's stories is a pattern of behavior that would be right at home in any viral video of a Karen losing her cool in a grocery store. Her sense of entitlement, particularly in her role as Zeus's wife, fueled her over-the-top reactions and vengeful schemes. Her jealousy toward anyone who caught Zeus's eye drove her to extreme measures, much like how a Karen might go ballistic over a minor inconvenience. And when it came to escalation, Hera was in a league of her own, turning simple disputes into cosmic calamities. Let's break down Hera's behavior with a bit of analytical flair. Her entitlement, jealousy, and knack for escalation all coexist in a tangled web of divine dysfunction. Each trait feeds into the others, creating a feedback loop of drama that would make any reality TV producer jealous. Hera's entitlement reinforced her jealousy, which in turn fueled her tendency to escalate. It's a vicious cycle where every perceived slight becomes a reason for Hera to unleash her wrath on an unsuspecting world. If Hera hadn't been so entitled, she might not have been so jealous, and without the jealousy, perhaps the Trojan War wouldn't have escalated into a full-blown catastrophe. But alas, once that train left the station, there was no stopping it. So while the term Karen might be a product of our times, the behavior it describes is as old as the gods themselves. Hera, with her divine authority and very human flaws, is the ultimate embodiment of this archetype. Her stories of entitlement, jealousy, and escalation offer a timeless and often hilarious reflection on the consequences of unchecked power and privilege. So the next time you hear about a Karen demanding to speak to the manager, just remember, Hera was doing it long before it was cool. In the grand mythological drama, Hera truly was the original Karen, a figure whose legendary antics continue to echo through the ages, serving as a model for far too many humans today.